Who winning? Y'all team or this team?
What?
In the 7th game? I'm just saying.
team?
Who the fuck you think he
Which
is?
team?
I don't know.
Oh, he said, your.
His team.
Oh.
You talking about with me, Ron, and
Yeah.
nah, we winning for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's, man.
Think so?
We're gonna
Ron
win.
always say that that's his biggest like letdown. He mad he like didn't get you a championship and shit. He used to say that on the team.
That 04-05
Yeah,
Pacers team,
he
Metal
said-
World Peace said that he thought that team could win a championship. Obviously, that was the year of the Mouse and the Palace. But Jay, when you look at that squad, you think that 04-05 squad, do you agree with Metal World Peace saying that was a championship level team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, remember now, we had just lost in the conference finals the year before, and obviously we had some challenges internally, and we got that far, right? And so we knew coming back. All of us came back early. I think we might have showed up to Indianapolis maybe almost a month and a half, 2 months early, and just started training together. We felt like we had the team, had the roster, most importantly, had the experience to go out and win it. And then obviously, the situation happened and it derailed it. But we definitely had a team that was built to win, and not only win that year, but win, can at least be in position to compete, for a conference championship and the NBA championship, year over year. But it just didn't happen that way.
And the fact that I left the conference too also helped y'all ass as well. So.
Hell no! Listen, we at that point we was already ready to go.
Come on now, let's not do
the
that.
team that we had, bro, we had interior defense, we had perimeter defense, and we can score it at the same time. So, and then getting Jack really helped change the dynamic from a toughness on the wing perspective, big guard, big wing, and then obviously Jamal Tinsley was a general as well.
Now, y'all was happy to see me go. Don't lie, nigga.
Nah. Listen, we was planning on putting boot ass everybody. At that point, we was like, whoever they put in front of us, we ready to put some boot ass.
So J.L. Kenyon obviously prized himself for his defense. Y'all met and faced each other in the playoffs. What was it like having Kenyon guard you in those playoff series matchups?
Kenyon was a tough defender. I mean, he was, obviously I was bigger than him, but he always was able to get low. Like this nigga was always low. Like I'm like, well, how this nigga this low? Every time I come down the court. So, but it was. I'm gonna tell you, it was a lot of that era was a power forward era too, right? And so the level of respect that we had for each other, obviously we knew each other. We had played on the USA team together, but it was war every time. Like it was. I mean, we had one game where. It was back-to-back games. Ken, you might remember that. You dunked on me in Indy.
Yes.
And then I came back to Jersey, and I post-move dunked you.
Yes.
It was that thing, right, where you remember that. Like, you couldn't wait because, this man bringing some real shit to the table, right? And so it wasn't no nights off and, let me go on here, let me go be out all night because that wasn't the matchup to do it with.
Oh, yeah. No, we was going to get it. We were going to battle. He was one of them dudes, man, that brought every night. Because you saw the work that he had put in to become the player that he was coming from high school and the Portland days, and now he's in there. He's an all-star, and he's this. And, so I was a young guy. Like, my first year, he was already him. He was he was that already. Mm-hmm. So then my second year is when we played him in the playoffs, and it was every possession. So he made me get better. J.O. made me get in the lab and made me study defensive tendencies and different things like that because, I'm prideful. So, I'm like, it was like I said, some mutual respect, man. But, they team Indiana was fucking good.
So, Ken, how many all-defensive team you made?
None.
What?
None.
Shit, me neither. And I led the league in blocks and didn't make one of the two.
That's crazy, right?
Crazy.
So y'all, and you did the same as us.
Yeah,
we ain't play no defense.
Right? Every night, right? Every night we had the matchups. Every single night. There was no nights off, like I said, at that spot, man. We give a fuck who you. If it was just a guy who didn't score, you knew he was a fucking rebounder, so you had to box him out. So you had some guys that did both, some guys that just. So every night you had some guy that you had to deal with to some level.
And that's why I tell people, when y'all look at percentages from guards in that era, you're looking at it wrong, right? This era don't have bigs that's protecting the basket.
Yeah.
That era had 2 of them. You had the 4 and the 5, right? Right. There was the 4 and the big 4s and 5s. This ain't the 80s where the 4-man is undersized 4 that's about 6'6", 7". Now, we had footers back then we had to try to get through. So yeah, I shot 41%. That was efficient going against what I was going.
Right, it was a confidence. You trying to get one of them up. If you dunked on one of them,
I gotta get the back guard and he jumped. Now he jumped. If I got the 41%, that's a good ass job.
No, so
10 for 25. Good night.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying about that shit.
that shit used to be different.
Like it's like you played the 4.
Yeah.
That shit used to be different.
You wasn't the 5, man.
Definitely wasn't the
4.
5. I had motherfuckers next. Yeah, I had niggas next to me like, hey.
Oh yeah, he been 5 right now.
Yeah, like he the 5 man. Yeah. All right, good. But then you stand over there with that nigga in that corner. Let me go down. Let me go down here and make this easy lay.
So, Jay, I want to go back to something real quick before we move forward. So you said that 2005 Pacer squad was championship caliber. We asked our chat on the show if that was a championship level squad. 72% of our chat agrees with you that Pacer squad. We got a lot of young people in the chat too, so that just shows the magnitude that team and the impact that team had. But let's go back to the beginning. You were drafted 17th overall straight out of high school to the Portland Trailblazers, 1996. At that time, you were the youngest player to ever play in an NBA game. You got drafted at 17, played your first NBA game when you were 18. So in your 4 years there, you saw them eventually reach the conference finals with guys like Scottie Pippen, Rasheed Wallace, Arvydas Sabonis, Steve Smith, Bonzi Wells, Damon Stoudemire, just to name a few. But how was it starting your career in Portland? What was that experience like for you coming there, 17, 18 years old, playing with these grown-ass men?
Man, it was different, man. Like, you go from high school and you're the best player on the court every time you step on the court, and then you go into the NBA and you like the 4th best person at your position, right? And so, obviously, from that perspective, it was a big transition. But what I will say is, and this is why I think, these NBA teams got to do a better job at is, you always hear about the struggles of players, right? But the question that nobody asks is, what was in place for these players to be successful, right? And so from my perspective, the Portland Trailblazers were prepared for a 17-year-old, right? We had like a life coach. We had a sports psychiatrist. The town was like, I was like a second son. And so they knew they were getting a teenager, and they knew that it was a process that I needed to go through, and they were prepared for that. They were invested into that. And so, you having the organization behind me from that perspective, not really necessarily putting the pressure on you, to come in right away and impact the organization. I just wasn't ready at that particular time. But making sure that I was in a process, and I had a process daily, and that was like my college one-on-one. And not to mention having a guy because they change that team every year a little bit. My first year was obviously Sabonis, Gary Trent, Antonio Wingfield, Rasheed Wallace, J.R. Ryder, Kenny Anderson, Stacey Augmon, OG. Shout out to Stacey Augmon, man. And then it dwarfed into like Brian Grant, Steve Smith, Detlef Schrempf, Kevin Cato.
Kevin Cato.
Man, it was a lot, man, and I got a chance to really take my time and pick ingredients of what I wanted from different players and put it into my game. And obviously, been in practice, the practice was tougher than the games. I got to go against Sheed, I got to go against Antonio, I got to go against Brian Grant, I got to go against Sabonis, and I'm getting different levels of types of games. And then it was able to put me in a position so when I got traded, everything else was easy at that point because I was dealing with them boys every day in practice for 4 years.
Shout out to D'Antonio Wingfield, man. He don't get a lot of that, man. That Cincinnati Bearcat don't get a lot of love out here in these streets.
That's rare, though. That's rare because you don't normally have all that sports psychology and stuff.
No.
Not back then.
We had that shit when I was there.
That's what I'm saying.
That shit I was doing.
We tried it, though, but...
But bro, why would you pay somebody millions of dollars and you ain't invested into their success?
Yeah, that's rare to think about that.
I get because 96. I mean, that's still early.
But this is the
going into the high school.
Hold on, fuck that. Name the list you came into the NBA. Go start over again. Name your teammates when you got drafted in '96. Name your teammates. Go.
It was Kenny Anderson,
yes.
Walt Williams, Cliff Robinson, Chris Dudley, Sabonis, Stacey Augman.
Niggas, foreigner.
Arvidas was about that too.
So who else?
People don't know.
It was a few
Block.
more niggas you named after that. So
Cliff Robinson.
nigga.
Yeah, it was Cliff, and then obviously it changed every year, so it was
Dog, but he was a nigga at heart. He's a nigga.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm saying these them dogs. So no. When it came in, the situation he came into,
No.
I'm saying they needed a team side. They needed people in place
Man, they wasn't
to help this kid coming into like. Trust me, he got off the porch and been falling.
But still,
God rest Cliff Robinson's soul, man.
Yeah. Nah, it was real. It was,
I'm just saying, like, these are facts. These are known things that guys in the league, you've been around, you know who got down, who smoked, who drank, who partied, who to stay. So they were trying to help this kid stay away from fucking certain influences. So they gotta, it takes a village.
But you don't normally think
No,
that.
but what I'm saying, like even in '96,
My ass.
because '96 is only what was it KG before you?
Kobe same draft.
Kobe came in the same year. Was it T-Mac before that?
T-Mac
Next
the
year.
year before.
Huh?
A year
it was the
after.
next year.
The next year.
97.
So you guys were the second crop of high school kids, right?
Well, it was Ticket in '95,
Then-
me and Kobe in '96, and Mac in '97.
97. So they wasn't, when I came in 2001, it seemed like they wasn't prepared for young guys. They didn't have no
Who, that was
regiment.
That was the Warriors.
No, I'm just now. So I'm saying, like, so
That
for
team
him to have stability already was
Forward thinking was
forward thinking that. Like, you consider that a great program.
Yeah.
Because for the
Bro,
most part,
that's-
they wasn't prepared for what an 18-year-old's gonna do. Like, 'cause remember, we can't drink, we can't go out. There's no babysitting that young, like to know what an 18-year-old. We don't know how to prepare shit. We don't know what the cleaners look like. We eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers out there at lunch buying, let me get KFC. Give me just a big box. So that's lunch, dinner, and breakfast the next day, right? So,
eating that motherfucker.
right? Because even when I got to Washington, they already had Quam, right? They wasn't prepared for him. Right?
Oh, yeah.
When I got there, I'm trying to convince them what a player lounge looked like, right? How to get breakfast. I didn't taste my first food on the road until LeBron James in Cleveland. He was the first road team to feed. It wasn't Dallas yet. It was Cleveland. I thought our team did like, oh shit, yo. It was like, nah, this from us. I mean, this from them. Like, okay, all right, cool. Like, so, in your era, getting treatment that early, like understanding that, that was cool.
That was.
Nah, it was dope, man. Shit, Aaron McKee and Gary Trent, they picked me up from the airport.
Boss, you got good vets.
Yeah, good
It
vets.
was,
No.
Yeah,
they
good
got great vets.
I had good vets my rookie year when I got in.
No, I had good vets too, but I was an asshole,
fucked
so I got fucked up. I got fucked up early.
So I got so JL. So you was there when my teammate got slammed, right?
Who?
Rude.
Nah, I was gone. I was
You was
gone.
gone already when he got
Yeah, he was going. Yeah, 2000.
was
Yeah,
gone.
2001 too.
Oh, that was
2000.
yeah. Damn, it was that late.
Yeah, that's when they got the young boy him, Quintel Woods. Yeah.
I thought you was in the locker room. I was going like, man, how y'all let that go down?
So Jay, you spent your first 4 seasons in Portland. Obviously, didn't play as much as you wanted to, but got to learn a lot from those vets that you had. You get traded to the Pacers. That's where your career really starts to take off. So, what changed for you when you got traded to the Pacers?
I was ready to go, bro. To be honest, man. Like I said, you go through that process for 4 years, and the mental wherewithal that you got to have, if you go back and you look, I was a free agent after 3 back then on that scale. I re-signed back with him, thinking that we was going to win the championship. We had just lost in the conference finals against the Spurs, and so I re-signed a new 4-year deal, and I'm playing less minutes. After being promised, I was going to play, at least 24 minutes a game, I'm playing less minutes my 4th year than I did my 3rd and 2nd year, right? And I got 3 more years left on the deal. So it was one of those things where I was already prepared mentally. I had already been tested because I was going through, the process. And then, back then, when you're a high school kid, you in comparison, like they comparing you to, to the next player. And then they saying, oh, this kid's a bust when in all actuality, I just wasn't given a chance. right? And so, when I got to Indy, I won most improved right away because I was already seasoned and ready to go. So when I got there, it was like more like, hey, let me show people what I got, and it was just building from there.